Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. My channel is called You Think, because I want you to reason and think, draw your own conclusions. In this video we're going to have a look at the final manipulation, right? It's not an experiment, it's just manipulation. So one of the reasons why they're having this show is because, look, the globe theatre is empty. People are leaving, people have woken up, and they know the whole thing's a scam. So they need to get people back into the theatres. And this is simply what it's about. Right? The whole thing is just, it's a show, it's stupid. Right? It's trickery, it's deception. So in this video, I'm going to show you some things that if you understand these things, you'll be able to understand what's going on with the final experiment. And that it's a scam. So it has a dual purpose. They're trying to create the illusion that the problems in the globe Earth and the problems in the heliocentric model have been resolved. Whereas the globe Earth and the heliocentric model fails on so many levels. So when you look at some of these levels, so this is just part of the shitty entertainment they've been giving us over the years. They gave us moon golf, cars from Mars, flip-flopping in space, right? And now it's the 24-hour Antarctic sun. So by using simple logic, whatever footage they bring, we can have a look at it and put it to the test. Look, like the flip-flopping in space. For you to rotate around your center axis, right, you need to use your body weight. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to turn. Right? So by providing us with the evidence, the same evidence actually tells you that it's a scam. Right? You can't rotate around your center axis if you're weightless. Right? We're gonna have a look at this. One of the circus clowns, this guy here, is just a dumbass circus clown, a greater sapien trying to sell you tickets to the show. So we're going to put him to the test, listen to what he says, and we're going to see what a dumbass he is. So look, they did provide evidence before. Right? That evidence proved that it was faked and it was a lie. And here's the problem: when a lie is exposed, they don't admit the truth, they construct an even bigger lie. That's all this really is. Because you need to ask yourself a question. There is tons of footage of the midnight sun, the winter solstice and the summer solstice in the north. So where's all the tons of footage in the south? Why doesn't it exist? And that's the problem. That's why they need to go there. Now I'm going to show you some things that will prove that the whole thing's a scam. So let's listen to the circus clown as he tries to sell you tickets to the show, and then we're going to ask some questions.
So the countdown for the final experiment has begun. In 3 or 4 days, depending on when I get this uploaded, the participants in the final experiment will be touching down in Union Glacier in Antarctica, and within 12 to 18 hours, the globe denier claim that a 24-hour sun does not exist will be destroyed.
Right. So that's part of the illusion, right? The globe fails on many levels. So if they produce a midnight sun, does it actually resolve all the problems in the box? No, it doesn't. So let's look at evidence. So it's not just evidence of the sun for 24 hours. It's the evidence of the ball Earth rotation axis in motion. Right? Both of them together, because they happen at the same time. You can't exclude the ball Earth rotation axis in motion and just show us a picture of the sun for 24 hours. Right? So let's listen. Right? So let's add some detail to that.
Now, it might take a couple days to capture evidence in a way that presents the evidence the way the flat earthers want it presented, because you know that's what it's going to come down to. Arguing over the evidence. Globe deniers are going to insist that they want to see 24 hours of continuous footage of the sun above the horizon. No breaks, no edits, no nothing. So, if someone walks in front of the camera and blocks the view of the sun for a minute or some clouds block the sun, they are going to scream that an edit was put in there. But at that point, that's all they're going to have.
Right? No, he's a dumbass. Listen, the ball Earth's rotation and axis motion. So let's illustrate the point here. What must happen? If you have two cameras, right, you and your buddy, and you're on a rotating platform, you want to film this ball for 24 hours, what must happen? You can't avoid it. What must happen? You can't avoid it. Your buddy on the right-hand side would rotate in front of you. After 6 hours now, he would be on your left-hand side. After another 6 hours, you'd be in front of him and he would be behind you. And 6 hours later, he'd be back on your right-hand side. Right? So this would be evidence. This is what we want to see. Right? He's just a circus clown. He's a dumbass. Right? He's not dealing with the real issues. He's a clown. Right. So if the Earth's not rotating, and you got two cameras, you and your buddy, you're filming there, right, for 24 hours. If the ball orbits in a circle around you, well, there won't be this motion. He can't move in front of you, and you can't move in front of him 12 hours later. Right. So, do we have footage like this? Yes, footage from the north. Right. There's a winter solstice. At the same time that they are seeing the midnight sun, a person in Alaska sees this. What does he see? He sees the sun rise and set where? In front of him. So is there any Earth rotation in this footage? No. So they've got a big problem.
Everything they say is a lie in the sky. Well, go but you're laughing out loud. Truth is lurking behind every gray cloud. Flat as a pancake slipping by. Mountains rise, but don't fool your eyes. Water never curls, just a smooth ride. They keep feeding you stories, truth denied. We see flat land, horizons stretching wide. We see flat land, horizons stretching wide. Flat Earth spinning the square. Wake up, people nowhere. Don't believe the round, not in prayer.
Right. So evidence. Not bullshit. You want to see real evidence. Evidence of the ball Earth rotation axis and motion. That's what we want to see.
Because you know that's what it's going to come down to. Arguing over the evidence.
Right, so don't come back with bullshit flying penguins, right? Because we're going to just send your bullshit back to you, right? Newton's third law. If you send us bullshit, right, we're going to send it back to you, right, in the opposite direction, increase its acceleration, its velocity, and we're going to do it quickly, right, because that's how shit works. So don't complain like you're a victim when you've been lying to us, and you give us horseshit and bullshit, and we throw it back at you. Now you're a victim, right? Because shit don't work that way.
Deniers are going to insist that they want to see.
But of course we want to see. Right? We want to see what the donkey sees. Ball, Earth, rotation, axis, and motion. So, they got some donkeys there with them. They took a whole lot of donkeys with them. What should the footage show? Your shadows crisscrossing, going in the opposite direction, right? Things further away moving faster, things closer to you moving slower. Your shadows crisscrossing at 12 o'clock mark and at the 2400 hour mark. The shadow should speed up and slow down. Right? This would be evidence.
Deniers are going to insist that they want to see.
Well, of course we want to see it. Dumbass. So if you're on a ball, right, you set your camera up, and I brought this out in one of my other videos, you're on a ball. So the evidence of that curve of that ball would be in your footage. So from your perspective, from the camera perspective, the sun can't move left and right, it must move up and down. Then it would swing over, and then as you cross the South Pole, it must dip down, and must dip up as you're on the opposite side.
Deniers are going to insist that they want to see.
Of course we want to see this. This would be evidence, dumbass.
Mountains rise, but don't fool your eyes. Water never curls, just a smooth ride. They keep feeding you stories, truth denied. We see flat land, horizons stretching wide. We see flat land, horizons stretching wide. Flat earth spinning the square. Wake up, people nowhere.
Right, so let's listen to the circus clown. Let's see what else he has to say.
Deniers are going to insist that they want to see 24 hours of continuous footage of the sun above the horizon.
Right, here's my second point that I'm going to bring up. Why do you need a special trip? Right, you should have had evidence over the last 100 years that you were brought to the table. Why do you need to make a special trip now? It's because you got caught out lying. Right? You got busted lying. Now you have to make a special trip. So do they need to make a special trip? No. Well, why? Well, you've got your dumbass ISS. Just send the ISS orbiting around the North Pole and the South Pole. You'll have your 24-hour sun, dipshit. You'll have your moon, your new moon orbiting in front of you. Right? You don't need to go to the flippin' North Pole and do a fancy show. What would your footage show? Well, your footage should show the sun and moon circling in front of you like this. The Earth would rotate in one direction and another direction in your video footage. Show us this. You should have this because you got your ISS up there, right? And don't come with your bullshit that you can't do it. Because we all know how gravity works. Gravity just pulls you wherever you want to go. If you want to go to the moon, gravity will pull you to the moon. If you want to come back to the Earth, gravity will pull you back to the Earth. So all you need to do is just point in a direction and gravity will send the ISS in that direction because that's how your bullshit gravity works. Right? If the moon is orbiting the Earth and it's falling around the Earth, it would be falling around in all directions. If what you're saying is true. Why does the Earth fall around the sun at that same angle? And why does the moon fall around at the Earth angle constant to the sun and the Earth? It'd be flip-flopping all over the show, man. Because things don't fall according to math. Right? Things don't fall around right, according to math. Things fall randomly. So, right, evidence, 2-point perspective must match. So what do I mean by that? Right. This is what I want to see. Look, if I got a ball, it doesn't matter the angle of that ball. If I'm on the one side of the ball, I can't see the other side of the ball. That's what the problem is. Right. You can't see around the curve of a ball. Right. Doesn't matter what that angle of the ball is. It's not going to change the fact that you can't see around the curve of a ball. Right. So let's look at this picture. Right. I want you to reason and think. In the winter solstice, the person at 2400 hours at the same angle, because the Earth is tilted at 23.4 degrees, that would be his angle in the summer. And in winter, right, and if he's at the 1200 mark, that would be his angle. At 2400 hours, it must match. The angle for the person in the winter at 24 and 1200 hours must be the same for summer, because it's a dumbass ball. So here's footage of the winter solstice. So At the same time that you see this in Alaska, the person in the south must see the 24-hour sun. So let's look at that footage. Well, the problem is, how can this person actually see the sun rising and setting in his same frame of reference for that 12 hours if he's in the north? This is what he filmed. So you automatically have a problem. Now let's exclude that problem and just add that footage to the issue at hand. So do you see the problem? Just stop and think. Right. How can a person at the 12 o'clock position see the sun above the horizon at its maximum point? A person at the 2400-hour position in the summer in the south, his angle is the same. How can he see the sun above the horizon when it should be at its maximum?
Mountains rise, but don't fool your eyes. Water never curls, just a smooth ride. They keep feeding you stories, truth denied. We see flat land, horizons stretching wide.
2-point perspective mismatch. So, let's look at another issue. I have a rotating platform. I have a camera that's in the north, right? In the south, I have a camera that's upside down. The camera in the north must rotate against the rotation. So must the camera in the south. They're rotating in different directions so that they both can see the ball for the 360 rotation. So you can't just go to the South Pole and stick up your camera. According to what? What are your angles? What is your time based on what? They never discussed this. They said, no, we're just going to go there and film the sun for 24 hours. Because you're an idiot. Right. So from your perspective, you're in the south, what must happen? The clouds must rotate around your camera axis because the Earth's rotating as you turn to film your ball. Right, we should see clouds rotating around the lens of the camera. Right, we should see the land push back. The land must push to the left. The land must now push back, push forward, to the left, and then to the right, and so forth. We don't see that happening in the north. It tells me that there's no North Pole and there's no South Pole. This would be evidence. You bring me this, put this on the table, I would say, well, that's evidence. Otherwise, take your shit and duck. This guy's a clown, man. Okay, so I'm going to show you how stupid this guy is. Remember this. Remember, they're producing evidence, but the evidence that they're producing actually debunks what they're saying. You can't use your upper body weight to rotate around your center of gravity and then convince people you're weightless, because you need that weight to flip and rotate. So let's listen to this clown. Right? Now remember this, and let's listen to what he says, and now we're going to listen. So most ball earthers are just dumbass, brain dead, falling asleep, and not listening. Listen to what he says. Visualize what he's saying, and then try and see the problem. So let's listen to what he says. But don't be like a ball earther and just flip and nod off and go to sleep. Pay attention.
And upload unedited photos and clips where others can get to them while you're out there. And here's a great example of why I'd like to see that happen. A couple days ago, I found out that a friend of mine is currently on an expedition in Antarctica with National Geographic. I was sent a couple of photos and a couple of videos of the ship busting through some ice and some penguins having a good time. Nothing I haven't seen before. But since the files were untouched copies of the original, every photo and video was geotagged. I could go into the metadata and grab the coordinates and pop that spot up on Google Maps. The files have the time embedded in them as well. So guys, while you're out there at 2 a.m., with the sun 5-10 degrees above the horizon, take pics of those globe deniers and put the raw files up for everyone to use.
Right. So why is this guy a dumbass? It's in what he was saying. So what's the problem? Look, time relative to your position. To timestamp the images, the Earth cannot be moving. And you can't be at the South Pole. Why? Because it wouldn't work. So let me explain to you. Here's two people, right? They're on a rotating platform. The South Pole is rotating. What is the time for both of them? It changes. Right? It doesn't change like anywhere else it would on Earth. This would be unique at the South Pole. So do you understand what the problem is? How do you timestamp this? If your position, say your GPS location would be locked, but according to what timestamp? What is your time? It wouldn't work. Your time wouldn't work. If this guy, if he's at 1700 hours, right, it doesn't match what he's seeing on the horizon. The guy spinning past, his time location is completely different. $12 is directly ahead of you. So how do you timestamp it? According to what? It can only work if the Earth is fixed and the Sun is moving. Then you can't have a South Pole. So your timestamp over the year, what must happen to that? It will change. As the Earth orbits around the Sun, and what is your timestamp, dumbass? Based on what bullshit? It's stupid. It can't work. So, my personal opinion, right? If I add all those things up, it means the South Pole cannot exist. If you go there and you're giving me a video footage of the sun above the horizon, give me the footage. I need to see the Earth's rotation, because the only place where people are spinning around the South Pole is at a bar and strip club called the South Pole. Otherwise, it can't exist. So look, I hope this video has given you food for thought. And look, don't let these people bullshit you. They're just clowns. Alright. Cheers and thanks for watching.
Sailing the seas, trading lines to Rome.